All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dan Caulkins. I represent the 88th House District. I'm from Decatur. My district goes from Decatur to Bloomington and encompasses 4 counties, Macon, Piatt, DeWitt, and McLean County. And I'm here today to introduce and talk about House Bill 5852. So House Bill 5852 is a result of Governor Pritzker in his budget address saying that one of the ways that he wants to fill the $800 million, and that's his number, shortfall of his budget is that he wanted to transfer $175 million out of our road fund, out of our road and construction account, to fund construction items that are loosely affiliated with transportation, but actually have always been paid for out of the general revenue fund. So when he said he could take $175 million out of our road and construction fund without affecting the balance and the effectiveness of it, I thought, well, if we can do that, why don't we give that money back to the taxpayer? Why don't we give money back to the people at the pump, the people that are suffering, who are paying high taxes? Illinois has one of the highest gas taxes in the nation. People that are having to drive to work that need some relief. We clearly know that inflation is really eating into everybody's budget. So we did a little research, and I wanted to put some numbers up here so that everybody can see exactly what we're talking about. So the first part of this really is the motor fuel tax law and how that's progressed over the years. So in 1989, our motor fuel tax was 13 cents a gallon. Now, obviously, back then, the price of goods and price of gasoline was pretty low, and that seemed to be fairly sufficient. And as you can see, progressing through the years, what's happened. And then you see we got up to 19 cents a gallon, and then in 2020, we decided we were going to double the gas tax, and that's when we went up to 38 cents a gallon, and we put in a little kicker in there. We put a kicker in that CPI. So without legislative approval, every year the gas tax will increase by the consumer index. So without us ever having a say, our gas tax goes up every year. So why does this matter? Well, this is the road and construction fund. This is the account. This is the lockbox that we created by constitutional amendment, that the funds collected from this taxes go into a separate fund. We did that because the General Assembly and administrations were stealing the money out of that fund to balance the budget and do projects that had nothing to do with roads and bridges. So in 2020, we had a fund balance at the end of 2020 of $839 million. Now, understand, every year the state of Illinois has had a very aggressive plan. We have spent a lot of money on fixing roads and bridges in this state. We haven't quit construction. And in fact, we've had a very, very aggressive plan and execution on fixing roads. And I know just in my hometown, we've spent a lot of money on the interstate between Decatur and Champaign. We've spent a lot of money north on 51 between Decatur and Clinton. We're spending a lot of money on Route 51 in Decatur and Route 36 going east and west out of Decatur, and on 121 going through Mount Zion towards Sullivan. We are spending a lot of money on roads and bridges. But look what's happened to our fund. Our fund balance has gone from $839 million to what is estimated this year to be over $5 billion. That's $5 billion of taxes that are collected at the pump. So in response to Governor Pritzker wanting to take $175 million out of this fund, and not going to affect any projects that we're going to do, we say the Republicans have a better idea. And our better idea is House Bill 5852. We want to suspend the increase. We're not suspending the tax. We want to merely suspend the increase for the next 2 years. So the increase is scheduled to go into effect on July 1st of this year is a 3.5% CPI, 3.5% increase in the gas tax. That's over a penny and a half. Now, we don't know what it's going to be in 2025, but if it's going to be compounded upon that, it could be another 5% or 6%. The Republicans think, let's give the money back to the people at the pump. Let's give them a little bit of relief. Let's show the folks that we're good stewards of their money. And then let's talk about this $5 billion fund. Do we really need $5 billion in that fund? And I think that'll be a subject that we can discuss down the road. So that's why House Bill 5852 was introduced. This is a way to give the governor and members of the General Assembly an alternative to transferring that money out of the road fund. So.